Today we are going to know about a person whose name still echoes across the millennia, a name that once made the very earth tremble under the boots of his armies. We speak of Alexander III of Macedon, the man who would come to be known to history as the Great. This relentless king had carved an empire that stretched from the rugged hills of Greece to the distant, mysterious rivers of India. Pharaoh, Persian king, and lord of Asia. He did not merely rule an empire. He ignited the Hellenistic age, a grand, golden fusion of East and West that forever altered the tapestry of our human story. Alexander the Great was born in July 356 BC in Pella, the ancient capital of Macedonia. His parents were King Philip II of Macedon and Queen Olympias, an influential princess of Epirus. From childhood, his parents fostered his ambition by ensuring he received a prestigious education, including being tutored by Aristotle. As a child and young boy, Alexander's temperament was forged in the space between his parents. His mother Olympias brought fierce intensity, pride, and a belief in destiny. His father Philip II brought strategic brilliance, discipline, and the craft of kingship. Together they molded a boy who was expected to lead armies and rule, not just inherit a throne. A horse trader brought a wild stallion named Bucephalus to King Philip II. The horse was furious, kicking and bucking. No trainer could mount him. Young Alexander noticed something others missed. The horse was terrified of its own moving shadow. Alexander ran to the beast. He grabbed the reins and turned the horse's head directly into the sun. With the shadow hidden behind the horse grew calm, Alexander leaped onto its back and galloped away perfectly. His proud father declared, "My boy, look for a kingdom equal to yourself. Macedonia is too small for you." The most defining chapter of his youth began when Philip hired Aristotle to tutor him. In the halls of Mysa, Alexander studied medicine, philosophy, and geography. Beyond facts, Aristotle taught him how to think and question. But the lesson that stuck deepest was his reverence for the Iliad, the stories of heroes and honor that would shape how Alexander saw himself. Alexander the Great encountered the Gordian knot, a famously tangled, intricately tied rope securing a legendary ancient chariot. A prophecy claimed that whoever could untie it would be destined to rule all of Asia. Faced with this seemingly impossible puzzle, Alexander studied it briefly, then drew his sword and sliced straight through the bindings, solving the challenge with bold, unconventional action. The phrase "cutting the Gordian knot" is now used to describe solving a complex, difficult problem with a single, decisive move. In 336 BC, King Philip II of Macedon was celebrating his daughter's wedding. While entering the theater without his bodyguards, he was fatally stabbed by a disgruntled former guard, Pausanias. The assassin tripped while fleeing and was killed, taking his true motives and any potential co-conspirators to the grave. In 336 BCE, after the assassination of his father, the 20-year-old Alexander ascended to the Macedonian throne. The crown came to him suddenly, and the kingdom he inherited was powerful but unstable. He was young, untested, and surrounded by people waiting to see if he would fail. His position was precarious from the start. Rebellions flared across Greece as city-states tested the new king. Alexander responded with terrifying speed. He crushed dissent and forced all of Greece back under Macedonian control before any rival could gain ground. With Greece secured, the massive Persian Empire loomed to the east, and the great king Darius III held the real power. Alexander did not stop at defense. He chose to attack to fulfill the dream of vengeance against Persia that his father had initiated. The campaign east was about to begin. In 334 BCE, Alexander crossed the Hellespont and left Macedon behind. The war with Persia had officially begun. He led his army into Asia with a small force against an empire many times larger, but he moved with total conviction. What followed was a decade of military perfection. Through battles such as Issus and Gaugamela, Alexander dismantled the massive Persian armies with tactical genius. He struck fast, outmaneuvered his enemies, and shattered their lines. He moved like a whirlwind across the east, breaking the power of Darius III and the Persian throne. Siege of Tyre, a display of engineering brilliance where he built a causeway to capture an unconquerable island city. The Egyptian liberation. He was welcomed as a savior and declared the son of the god Amun, cementing his status as a divine ruler. The fall of Persepolis, the symbolic heart of the Persian Empire, fell to him, signaling the end of the Achaemenid dynasty. After toppling Persia, Alexander's ambition knew no horizon. He pushed his army deeper into Central Asia and then toward the Indus Valley land after land fell. But the distance from home grew with every step. The edge of the known world was calling him forward. At the Battle of the Hydaspes against King Porus, Alexander faced a terrifying new adversary: war elephants. The beasts charged and broke formations, but Alexander's tactics held. He prevailed in the fight, yet the cost and the strangeness of the land weighed heavily on his men. It was here that his exhausted army finally broke. They had marched thousands of miles through deserts and over mountains. Their bodies and spirits were spent. For the first time, Alexander was forced to turn back. The soldiers refused to go further, and the march east came to an end. A legacy undone. The march home was a grueling test of survival. By 323 BCE, Alexander reached Babylon, planning new campaigns in the Arabian Peninsula. But fate had other designs. After days of heavy feasting and perhaps suffering from illness or poison, the conqueror of the world collapsed. He died at the age of 32. He left no clear heir, famously claiming his empire should go, quote, to the strongest, which triggered decades of brutal wars among his generals, eventually shattering his grand creation into smaller kingdoms. There is nothing impossible to him who will try, attributed to Alexander the Great. Alexander's life was a brilliant, burning arc. He did not just conquer territory. He facilitated the spread of Greek art, language, and culture deep into Asia, a cultural melting pot known as the Hellenistic Age. As we reflect on his immense life and the rapid collapse of his empire following his death, what aspect of Alexander's story do you find most compelling? His tactical brilliance on the battlefield, or his attempt to blend diverse cultures into one cohesive world?